People are leaving Australia for a variety of reasons, shaped by personal, economic, and societal factors that have been bubbling up in recent years. It's not a sudden exodus, but a steady trickle of departures influenced by shifting circumstances and individual aspirations. While the country has long been seen as a land of opportunity with its laid-back lifestyle, stunning landscapes, and stable economy, some residents are finding that the reality doesn't quite match the promise anymore. The decision to leave is rarely simple, often weaving together practical challenges with deeper, more personal motivations. One of the most pressing reasons is the cost of living, which has climbed steeply in major cities like Sydney and Melbourne. Housing, in particular, has become a sore point. In these urban hubs, owning a home feels out of reach for many, especially younger people who see renting as their only option, and even that's pricey. The dream of a house with a backyard, once a cornerstone of Australian life, seems to be slipping away for a generation facing stagnant wages and rising expenses. As a result, some are looking elsewhere, either to quieter, more affordable parts of Australia or to countries where their money goes further. Places overseas with lower living costs or better housing prospects have become tempting alternatives. Beyond housing, everyday costs add up too. Groceries, utilities, and transport aren't cheap, and for families or individuals trying to save, it can feel like there's little left at the end of the month. This financial squeeze isn't unique to Australia, but it's hitting hard in a country where the lifestyle was once touted as relaxed and prosperous. For some, the math just doesn't work anymore. They're seeking places where they can stretch their earnings and still enjoy a decent quality of life without the constant pressure. Jobs are another big driver. Australia has a solid economy with low unemployment, but that doesn't mean everyone's finding what they need career-wise. Professionals in fields like technology, finance, or healthcare often spot better opportunities abroad. In countries like the United States, Canada, or the United Kingdom, they might land roles with higher pay, more responsibility, or a clearer path to advancement. It's not just about money either. Some feel their skills are underutilized at home or that the industries they're in aren't growing fast enough to match their ambitions. This pull of global markets can be strong, especially for those who've studied hard or built specialized expertise. For others, leaving is less about what Australia lacks and more about what the rest of the world offers. Personal connections play a huge role here. Many Australians have family ties overseas, especially in places like the UK or New Zealand, where shared history and culture make the move feel natural. Going home to where their parents or grandparents came from can be a way to rediscover roots or build a life closer to loved ones. Then there are those who simply want to change. Maybe they've lived in the same suburb their whole life and crave a new adventure. Travel-hungry younger folks, in particular, might head off to explore, study, or work abroad, chasing experiences they can't get at home. Retirees have their own reasons for packing up. Some are drawn to warmer, cheaper destinations like Southeast Asia, think Bali or Thailand, where their savings or pensions buy a more comfortable life. Instead of scraping by in Australia's expensive coastal towns, they can afford a house, good food, and even some hired help overseas. It's a practical choice for those who want their golden years to feel less like a budget balancing act and more like a reward for decades of work. The aftermath of the pandemic has added another layer to this trend. When borders slammed shut in 2020, many Australians who'd planned to leave for work, study, or just to see the world had to put those dreams on hold. Once restrictions lifted in 2022, a wave of pent-up departures followed. People who'd been stuck at home suddenly had the chance to act on long-delayed plans, whether that meant taking a job overseas, enrolling in a foreign university, or finally visiting far-off relatives. This catch-up effect has kept emigration humming along, as folks seize the freedom to move after years of being grounded. There's also a less tangible restlessness in the air. Online, you'll find people grumbling about regulations, taxes, or government policies they see as overbearing. Business owners might feel bogged down by red tape, while others complain about a tax system that takes a hefty bite out of their income. Whether these frustrations are enough to push someone out the door is hard to pin down. It's more of a background hum than a clear cause. Still, it feeds into a broader sense that Australia is not as easygoing as it once was, at least for some. Societal shifts are part of the conversation too. Australia's population has been growing fast, thanks to a steady stream of newcomers from overseas. While this keeps the economy ticking, it's also put pressure on cities, think traffic jams, crowded trains, and longer waits at the doctor. Some longtime residents feel the country is changing in ways they don't love, whether it's the pace of life speeding up or the cultural fabric stretching to accommodate new faces. For a few, this sparks a desire to find a quieter corner of the world where things feel more familiar or manageable. Climate might nudge people along too. Australia is known for its harsh summers, wildfires, and floods, and while most cope just fine, others tire of the unpredictability. They might head to places with milder weather, where they don't have to brace for the next heat wave or bushfire season. It's not a mass migration trigger, but for those already on the fence, it's another reason to consider a move. At its core, leaving Australia often comes down to a search for something better, whether that's affordability, opportunity, or a fresh start. The country's still got plenty going for it. Beaches, barbecues, a decent healthcare system. But for those who go, the pull of elsewhere outweighs the pull to stay. It's not a new story. More Australians have historically left than come back each year, but it's picking up steam as these pressures stack up. Some see it as a temporary stint, a chance to work or wander before returning. Others are gone for good, betting on a future beyond the sunburnt continent. Either way, the reasons are as varied as the people making the choice, reflecting a mix of pragmatism, dreams, and a quiet itch for change.